How do you make a pattern brush, and can you use images in brushes? Well, you're in the right place to find out. This is the Work Smarter Not Harder Dojo with me, Tony Harmer, aka the Design Ninja. Okay, so I'm here working on this fantasy map, and I've actually decided to start dressing up this label at the top here, and I'd like to create a nice border instead of this red line here, and I'm going to use a pattern brush to do that. So what I'm going to do is create a quick design. So I'm just going to use my line tool. If you use backslash on your keyboard, that will get you to the line tool. And holding down shift to keep that nice and straight, I'm going to draw upwards like so. There we go. Now let's give that line some dimension. We'll pop some color on there and just bring that out a bit just to make it a bit larger, like so. Something like that is good. And then we'll change the end caps here to rounded, and that should be just fine. Now I'm going to create some copies of that. So I've gone back to my selection tool, and I'm going to hold down the Alt or Option key and Shift to keep everything constrained to a straight line, and then just drag a copy just a distance away like so. And I'll repeat that a few more times. I'll have 3, 4, 5, and maybe one more on there. I think we'll do just fine. Okay, so I'm going to go across to the ones either side of the middle. Actually, I'll just get rid of one of those so we actually have got a middle. Okay, so I'll go to these two just here. Okay, and select their points like so with the direct selection tool. A, if you need to grab that quickly. And then I'm going to move these two up just a little way like that. And then I'll go to the two either side. Okay, and then I'll bring those down just a little bit like so. I think that will make a nice, interesting pattern. Now, actually, I don't really need the one on either side. So I'm just going to choose one of those. I'll use the right-hand side and delete it, because this will make a repeating pattern. So I want it to go back to a small shape like so. I'm going to grab all of those. I prefer to outline mine. So what I'm going to do is go to the Object menu, come down to the Path menu here, and outline stroke. Excellent. And once that's done, go to the Brushes panel and drag that artwork in. I'll then get the dialog for a new brush, and I'll choose Pattern Brush like so and hit OK. And then I end up in the Pattern Brush dialog. Well, let's give this a name. I'll just call it My Border. There, like so. And then I'll start to work here. So you can see that at the moment it's generating along a line, but that actually needs a bit of help. So I'm going to space that slightly. I've just clicked in that field, and now I'm just using my up arrow to bring out the spacing until I'm happy with it. And for the moment, I think that's pretty good just there. We can adjust the inner while, as you'll see. Okay, and then I need to work on the corners. Now, at the moment, I haven't done any work for the corners, but I do have some automatic options here that have been generated for me. I'm not particularly sure that actually I like any of those options in this particular instance, and that's maybe because this pattern is so small. But I'll go ahead and go with Auto Between, I think, just for now, and that's what that will look like. Let's try one of the other ones actually. I'll try Auto Sliced. In fact, for the minute, I think I'm happier with that. I'll hit OK, and my pattern brush is created. I'll just move this artwork out of the way over here, and I'll select the border here, zoom out a bit more so you can see it, and then apply my pattern brush. Now that's way too big for the border I want, but I can change the size by varying the stroke. I'm going to bring this right the way down to 0.5 of a point. That's not too bad. Could even go to 0.25, and I think that's too small. So I'll go between the two, or actually just for the moment, use that one. So what do you do if you're not getting the corners that you actually want? Well, you need to create another pattern tile to do that job for you. So I'll just keep this artwork over here for a moment. Okay, give myself a bit of room to work and also make it easier for you to see. And I think I'm going to go really, really simple with this one. I'm going to create just a simple square like so. Okay, I'm going to hold down Shift and tap X, okay, to swap the fill and stroke out there and make that a bit larger, similar to the size of stroke that I had here, which I now, of course, can't remember. Okay, and thinking about it, I'm going to go with the same coloured fill, but if I go ahead and go to the appearance panel here and target the fill, I can then use the effects here. So if I go to distort and transform and then transform, let me just turn on preview or make sure it's on, and I'll bring down the horizontal scale like so. So you should see an effect from that very soon. Just something like that. I think about 60% should do it. And I'll make it the same here. I went for 61, so I'll go to 61. Perfect. I think that that will do just fine. I'll just expand that appearance so that it becomes one whole thing. And also I'm going to outline the stroke just there as well. Perfect. Now I've got that piece of artwork there, what I'm going to do is go to the Object menu, come down to the Pattern submenu, just here, and choose Make. And I'll just dismiss that dialog. Now, a straightforward grid will actually work just fine for the purpose here. I could space this out a bit further, but I think that will do. So I'm going to call this one Corner, like so, and then I'm going to tap Done up at the top here. Okay, and that's it. You'll see that in my swatches panel, just around about here, I've actually got a corner tile just there. So now I can go ahead and go back into this brush, or I could make a new one. Okay, I'll go back into this brush, go to the brushes panel, and then go ahead and go to my brush options. I can then change out the tile, okay, for the pattern I've made myself. And there you are, that works pretty well. It's about the same size as the height of the pattern stroke here, so that's working really, really well. And I'll hit OK and apply it to the strokes that it already has. And that is how you can make a pattern brush. The next question is, can we use images in brushes? And the answer, of course, is yes. So let's take a look at how that works. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got an image that I've pasted in from Photoshop. It's just an image of some rope. It actually started out as vectors, but then it's been rasterized. So it's an image, it's got no background on it. And more importantly, it's been embedded into the file. So pasting does that, causes it to embed. Now, I'm usually all about linking assets here in the Work Smarter Not Harder Dojo, but this is one of the rare exceptions. Now, if it said linked file at the top here, you could always click on this menu and you'd see that embed link would be available from there. But here, because it's already embedded, it won't show that. And it tells me, of course, that it is embedded. So now I simply go ahead and go to the brushes panel and drag this in, and again, choose pattern brush. If I hit OK, you'll now see that it's generated me that pattern stroke. Now, it's difficult to see here, of course, but I'll just call this one rope. And I'm going to use one of the automatic options here. And I'm kind of favoring auto-centered. So I'll use that one for now. Remember, you can always come back in and change that if you want to. I'll hit OK. Let's zoom out here. Let's go and select the rectangle around the side here, which is actually on a locked layer. So I'll go and unlock that layer, pick up this rectangle, go to the brushes panel, and instantly we've got that rope making its way around the sides there. So I'm just going to click on the rope image that I've got here because I can delete that. And there you are. That's how you can create your own pattern brushes for some stunning effects and also how you can use images in those brushes. And that's it for now. We're done, but please do subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you next time here in the Work Smarter Not Harder Dojo. See ya.